where we are, we're pretty much on Oxford Street and
Broadway.
Or Broadway, yeah.
Oh, sorry, there's another campus, is there?
That's a different campus, yeah. So Broadway.
Excuse me.
This is Broadway.
Broadway,
right?
yeah, that's right.
All the different students teaching, psychology, all of that. The medical students and the nursing students are all in the Darlinghurst campus, which is on Oxford Street.
Amazing.
My name is Altamash. I'm a second-year medical student at the University of Notre Dame.
My name is James. I'm a first-year medical student at the Notre Dame.
James and Altamash. Very nice to meet you both, and thank you for joining me on the Choosing Your Uni podcast. This is super sweet.
It's very cool.
Very cool, indeed, yeah.
We're here at Notre Dame. It's open day. Literally, as we started to record, a band has just come out of nowhere, just driving away. I really love the vibe of this place. Altamash, I maybe start with you, mate. What do you enjoy most about studying here at Notre Dame?
Notre Dame has a very strong community. Obviously, being in medicine right now, postgrad medicine, I've done an undergraduate degree, I've done an honors degree as well. The way that Notre Dame is different compared to the other university that I've studied at previously is the fact that everyone's really close with each other. You run into the same faces often, and it's not too small to the point where you feel like you don't have the opportunity to see other people, but it's just the right size where you can actually connect with a lot of different students and also with the teachers as well. They know your names. Large university is kind of hard to happen unless you really make a place for yourself. So it has a lot of pros for me, personally.
How about you, James?
I'd have to probably agree with Mash here. I really like the small community. It's not so small that, there's nothing to do, but it's not so big that, you get lost in everything. And, not having as many people here, you get to be involved in a lot more stuff for yourself, which is what I love. And being an international student myself, coming from Australia, I was a bit nervous about meeting new people, making friends. But within the first week, people are so kind here. They invited me to go to the beach and everything with them. Very good community, and I really like that about Notre Dame. Yeah.
Incredible.
With medicine.
Yeah.
And that was a really important thing, I'm sure, for you as well.
Yeah.
Pretty important for me in my decision-making to come to Notre Dame to study medicine. And I'm sure it is for a lot of my other colleagues as well, is the personalized attention from the tutors. All our tutors, they're GPs, if not, specialists in surgery. And it's quite a privilege to be taught by such highly experienced individuals.
Yeah, I agree. Having GPs and actual doctors as your tutors and your lecturers, they really are so knowledgeable about clinical skills. Not only do we learn about, the science stuff behind it, but they really teach you how to apply that science into the medical field and clinical practice so that it's a lot more applicable or relevant to our studies. Yeah. It's really nice.
Where are you guys from originally?
I'm from Canada. Yeah. I'm from South Korea originally, but moved to Canada. Now I'm here.
Nice.
Yeah.
Just all over the place.
Yeah.
Grew up in a couple of different countries, Japan, America. But ethnically, my background is Pakistani.
Say again, sorry?
Pakistani from Asia.
Right,
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. So when you started here, is there something that surprised you? We talked a bit about community, but something else that sort of surprised you or you weren't expecting from your experience? Because one of those things, Notre Dame isn't one of Australia's sort of famous universities, but I love these figures, to the Australian government figures, in terms of student satisfaction.
Yeah.
It's essentially number one.
It's really high, yeah. And also another thing that surprised me about Notre Dame was whenever I've come across different people and I tell them, I'm studying medicine in Notre Dame, they always have said to me, I've heard that they're very good students, they do very well in the hospitals. When other tutors as well, or other people in the medical profession, when they hear about, you study in Notre Dame, they always have this comment where it's we heard that Notre Dame students, they're really good at what they do. They really care for their patients. So this is one thing I was taken aback when we do get recognition for that.
Maybe let's niche on medicine. It's probably one of those disciplines that until you get in there and study, you've got a fixed opinion on what it's really like. Tell me the truth, fellas. What's medicine really like?
I completely agree with that. Medicine is one of those things that you never know. You can't understand what it's like until you get into it. I had this impression. I had a lot of medical student friends from back home as well who are a bit older than me. They told me about a lot of the stuff that they do, and I was like, that's really interesting. That's really cool. But what I don't see is them putting in hours and hours and hours of studying every day, just trying to pass or trying to get good grades. So yeah, medicine, from the outside, it looks very cool, very prestigious. But until you get into it, it's hard to know how much work you got to put into it. Yeah, but you know what? It's worth it. I love doing it. So yeah. It's very worth it.
And just adding on to that, your impression of a doctor is they know everything.
Yeah.
I'm a medical student. I'm supposed to know everything there is about pharmacology, anatomy. Look, even if you meet the most specialized people, if you ask them a question that's outside their specialty, they wouldn't know. It's impossible to know everything. And just realizing that and trying to pick out what is necessary, what isn't, filtering, having that filter to work through that massive pile of information being thrown at you is really essential in medical school.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the ongoing research. I mean, medical research is always moving forward.
Always updating. Guidelines being changed. You have to keep up to date.
Yeah.
You have to be flexible with not having a fixed criteria. That was something that I struggled with a little bit, but I had to be open-minded towards that. And if I add on to it, the aspect of performing in medicine is also different. I didn't have to perform anything in undergrad. I'd sit, do my tests, submit an assignment, but in medicine, we have to actually do examinations, take histories. There's an actual performance part where you have to listen, look for signs and symptoms. And just getting from Notre Dame that really, because we have PBLs.
Yeah.
Where
Sorry, what's that mean?
PBL stands for problem-based learning. And it's just a group of 6 to 7 people per class. So we have really small groups. Each group has a tutor with them. And we work through the beginning stage of someone coming in, presenting with symptoms, all the way till the end where we have management.
Awesome.
G'day, it's Rob here. Hey, are you a parent or a carer of a student that's thinking of going to uni in the years ahead? Did you know that Choosing Your Uni has a whole bunch of resources that are just for people like you? And you can find those at parents.choosingyouruni.com. You're going to find things like links to our Facebook community, downloadable worksheets, and heaps of advice by parents for parents. It's all the sort of stuff that you need to help guide your student on their journey to uni and beyond. Check it out now, parents.choosingyouruni.com.
Yeah.
What about outside class, guys? I mean, obviously as medicine students, you guys are pretty busy, but I can see you're both involved in the student association here. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so extracurriculars has always been something so important to me. Even in high school and elementary school, I've always been part of sports, part of clubs. I think it's a great way to go out and meet people that's outside of your own discipline.
Yeah.
And it's a good way to relax, have some mental breaks. So, I play a lot of sports. I joined Sonda here, the Student Association. I'm part of the Medical Student Society as well, helping out with social events, things like that, to give other students a break. I really enjoy doing stuff like that. So it's a very nice break from all the studying. So
Agreed. Similar to what you said, come from interstate, from Melbourne.
Yeah.
And my whole purpose for moving here was for medicine. So just to branch out, meet people outside of the community, because I'm surrounded by doctors from the moment I wake up pretty much to the moment I go back home. So just connecting with the Students Association, society, is a great way to meet different people, do something that's a little different than medicine, just keep a healthy work-life balance.
Notre Dame, of course, has campuses elsewhere in Australia as well. Let's talk a little bit. So you guys have moved here to come to study. Tell me a little bit about sort of just life in general, what it's like to study in this part of Sydney and just life in Sydney in general.
So this is actually my first time in Australia since I came here in January. Never been here before. Compared to Canada, it's very hot here. So, the winter gets nice and cool here. So I like that.
Yeah, for 3 weeks.
Yeah, for 3. That's true. And now we're back to summer.
Now it's back to summer.
Just living in the city, there's a lot more opportunities because I'm from a bit of a rural background back in Canada. So while I love rural communities being rural, there's not as many opportunities to do stuff. You want to go to a certain restaurant, you'd have to drive so far to get there. Whereas in Sydney, you got just a couple steps right outside the door. You want to go do something, it's right there. A lot of tourist attractions that you can go to. Lots of beaches. I really like that. Not a lot of beaches where I'm from as well. So, yeah, I live landlocked in Canada, farming province. So, yeah, Sydney's beautiful beaches. Love the Opera House. That's the first thing I went to when I came here. I was like, I have to look at the Opera House. Yeah, I haven't ridden the ferry yet. No, but I went to the Harbour Bridge and I saw the Opera House.
Very easy.
How about you, mate?
So being from Melbourne, I'm not biased, but I do enjoy living in Melbourne a little bit more.
Yeah, good. Tell me why.
Look, Sydney has more to offer, right?
Mm.
I feel like if you have loaded pockets, there's a lot you could do in Sydney. Sydney has so much to offer. Melbourne doesn't have much to offer. But when it comes to the average lifestyle, I would say Melbourne just has that little edge over Sydney does. But as medical students, you're not studying. So you're studying the whole time, full-time student. You're not working. Notre Dame, where we are, we're pretty much on Oxford Street and
Broadway.
Or Broadway, yeah.
Oh, sorry, there's another campus, is there?
That's a different campus, yeah. So Broadway.
Pardon me, excuse me.
This is Broadway.
Broadway,
right?
yeah,
We
that's
got
right.
all the different students teaching, psychology, all of that. The medical students and the nursing students are all in the Darlinghurst campus, which is on Oxford Street.
Amazing. I'm just going to jump in there. This is why choosing your uni is so important, because there is so much information. I've been hanging out in unis for 20 plus years and I didn't even know that. So I've learned something super important today. Yeah, okay. Sorry, so go on, mate. Yeah, so you're over that part of Sydney?
Yeah, and right next to our campus is St. Vincent Hospital.
Ah, of course.
Right? So, the university has connections with St. Vincent, Auburn Hospital, anywhere else in Sydney? Hawkesbury, let's go, right? They have a campus in Lithgow and a hospital in Lithgow, pretty close proximity. And then, this is the other good thing about medicine at Notre Dame is, say that, you go and study medicine in Notre Dame, third year, fourth year, we have placements. You could do those placements not only in New South Wales, you could go to Victoria to complete those as well. So as someone who's from Melbourne, right, or spent longer in Melbourne, I would complete the 2 years here, and I always have the option to go back to my friends, my family, in third and fourth year. And no other university, according to my knowledge, currently does that.
Yeah.
If you're going to any other university in the state, you're locked in for 4 years.
That's awesome. I'm really appreciative of the honest opinion, right? The stat that jumps out at me also about the sort of cost of living stuff. Rents in Sydney, $750. Rents in Melbourne, $600. Just that alone for people who are thinking of moving interstate or coming from overseas makes a huge difference. If that's you, that could be one of the deciding factors. Last question for you, fellas. If you could go back and give some advice to your younger self, 17-year-old you, which could be about like this university, or it could just be broader about what's coming, what would you go back and tell yourself?
Honestly, probably just say trust the process. I was a bit of a stressy kid, I guess, and worrying about, I got to do this, I got to try that, planning things out, especially in university, trying to get good grades to get into medicine. Just trust the process. I've tried a couple times back in Canada. Unfortunately, I didn't get in, so I looked abroad to Australia and Ireland and other places like that. So, and if I could just tell them, it'll be okay. Just trust the process. It'll be all right. Just take your breaks. Don't try so hard. Yeah, don't stress about it. That's what I'd say.
I would say similar. Trust the process, but I think more importantly, enjoy the process.
Love that.
Gotta enjoy it, man. Look, there's always a better, bigger stone to jump on. The next best thing is always, the grass is always greener on the other side. You get one thing, but you want the next thing, and, it just never stops, man. When I was in high school, it was like, uni, I got to decide what to do there. Got into a really good university, but then it was the next thing, the medicine. And then after medicine, it's going to be the specialty, right? And then after specialty, it's going to be something else. Look, if you always focus on, I need to get into medicine, I need to get medicine, right? Then you need to focus on the actual journey to that point, or even the next, the journey after medicine. Just enjoy the process. Don't be too hard on yourself and live in the moment, man. Time doesn't come back. Undergrad was completely different to medicine. Enjoy undergrad. Go to clubs, go to societies, interact with people. Dude, it's not the same. It's different. Undergrad is just different. Have a good time in undergrad, I would say, honestly.
Super good, guys. So good to meet you here at Notre Dame Sydney campus. Sore voices by the end of the day. It seems a lot of people out and about. Thanks so much. Thanks, guys. Take care.
At Choosing Your Uni, our mission is to make finding your ideal institution and your degree fun, easy and stress-free. So if you're looking to save some time, to discover more and to get personalised advice for every step of your journey, check out choosingyouruni.com. Our theme music is composed by Pasha Shogi and his band Flow, and this episode has been researched and constructed on Garigal land in Sydney. Until next time, have yourself an awesome day.